Happy 4 years. I often forget this. I have a lot of sober friends in my networks. And I see them post, 6 months, 90 days, 2 years, and you always know I'm cheering them on and celebrating. A little bit closer. Um, but yeah. Where are we gonna go with this? So, alcohol is something that I actually never really enjoyed. So I was one of the last people of all my friends to drink. Um, so started off, I didn't drink. I remember I'd go visit my brother at college, and all his friends would drink, and I would just like hang out with, I don't know, 4 years older. So they'd be sophomores in college, and I'd be a sophomore in high school, and I'd go like crash the night or whatever, and I wouldn't drink, and they would obviously offer it to me. In high school, we started partying, and probably like junior year, we would go to parties, and I'd be one of the last people that would drink. I don't think I started drinking till maybe senior year, which is crazy because I'm doing a lot of research on alcohol now, and I'm learning that about 60% of people drink before they go to high school. That's crazy. But I never did. Why? I don't know. I never liked like losing the ability to focus. I didn't like my mind being altered. So I would go to parties in high school, go to my brother's college parties, and not drink and hang out. So eventually I did start drinking. I remember the first time I drank is I've only vomited like twice in my life. Maybe once when I was really young. And then one of them was the first time I was drinking. And yeah, I thought that we were all sharing this bottle of Captain Morgan. Turns out it was just me. Ended up hanging out by the toilet with a little wiener dog named Beamer and having long conversations with him. Last I remember that night. So let's fast forward. Went through drinking years, drank in college, drank after college. We used to drink 4 to 5 days a week, go out and party, hang out, do whatever. Live in that professional partiers, is what we call ourselves. So let's fast forward to 4 years ago. What the fuck happened? Probably 15 years of drinking, partying, hanging out, having fun, seeing the world, making businesses, doing all sorts of shit. Arguing that alcohol never affected my life, saying I still get all my shit done. I still work 100-hour weeks. My businesses are all still growing. I have tons of friends, relationships, always had relationships. Lots of them dated, yeah, one girl for like 6 years, internationally as well. So let's just, so then what happened was I went and did this mastermind retreat with other fellow entrepreneurs. Did a little trip to Fort Lauderdale, then went up to New York. In Fort Lauderdale, we had by 30 of us got together, had some dinners, some meetings, did a little mastermind. I hosted a live show. It was before Millionaires Are Made. It was the prequel called Two Morons Talk. Hosted a little Two Morons Talk episode, and then we were part of we had a bunch of friends, right? They were all doing 75 hard. If you haven't heard of 75 hard, go Google it. It's insane. I have only done it once. I don't know why I don't do it again. But from this one 75-day challenge, I now drink a gallon of water every day. I read 10 pages of nonfiction every day, and I stopped drinking. So maybe I should probably do this a lot more often if those three habits came out of it. So this is where I stopped drinking. I did 75 days. So we're at this conference or at this just meetup or whatever, and we're all making fun of the people doing 75 hard. We're like, oh, they can't drink. We're out here partying in Fort Lauderdale. Ha ha ha. As we drink more, we start talking more shit. And eventually we talk ourselves into our own group to start 75 hard on Monday. So we all fly back wherever our homes are. Mine was in Denver at the time. Fly to Denver, and 25 of us start 75 hard. And I remember I didn't worry about it. I was playing high level soccer, working out twice a day is easy, eating healthy, easy. I did most of the things like 70%. And a lot of people always say they do about 75% of 75 hard. But there's always one or two things that fuck you over. So this one was alcohol. And I was like, dude, I can't drink for 75 days. This is going to be so hard. And I would have never done 75 hard if I didn't have a group of people that, A, talk the right amount of shit to me because I'm super competitive. So when I'm at dinner or for someone's birthday and we're at a fancy dinner and there's shots going around and it lines up in front of me and I'm staring at it. Actually, I wasn't doing shots then either. I kind of weaned down. So I stopped doing shots probably like 6 years ago. And then it got to the point where I would drive to parties because that would mean I could only have 3 beers or less. I've only driven drunk once in my life, and I was like in college, and it was a dire situation. So I was always really good about that. Some people aren't. Like, there's people that, like, I still don't consider myself an alcoholic. I don't believe I have an addiction. I know if you go to AA, you have to say it, and sure, that's some belief, and whatever gets you through it is awesome, as long as you're fucking sober. But I don't say Austin, I'm an alcoholic. I've never been to an AA meeting outside of just experiencing one little one in an ocean. And I'm pretty sure that was a meeting. I really don't know what AA meetings even are, but man, tangents all the time. Always tangents when you have ADD. So we go this, we all talk shit to each other and we talk ourselves into doing 75 hard. And I know my hardest part is going to be 75 days without alcohol. I could go 5 days, whatever, but I like to party. I have friends. I mean, in Denver at that point, we had probably like 150-person friend groups. It was basically everyone that had finally gotten through COVID and was like, I gotta get out. I gotta get out. So this is what, 4 years? So 2021. Yeah. So this is like August of 2021. And everyone's starting to get out. We're having these huge parties. We're going to all this stuff. And I'm like, the Broncos were just starting. It was like preseason. So football season starting. And I'm sitting there. I didn't even know what non-alcoholic beer was. I think as a kid, I had heard of O'Doul's, and that's all I knew about. So we'd be at bars with like 30 of us watching the Broncos game. Broncos are scoring touchdowns. Our tradition is to take a shot of Fireball. Everyone would be taking shots of Fireball. Everyone would order me one because everyone would forget, and they get drunk, and I'd be like, oh, I'm not drinking. And I was bored as fuck, and I hated my life for the first 30 days. Just sit here, you watch everyone having the time of their lives. And you're like, I can't drink. Why am I doing this? And if it wasn't for my group, I would not have made it. So when you pop up, you have the group chat there. You're like, man, I'm watching the Broncos. They're kicking ass. I'm about to have a drink. And then you have 15 people. Don't be a pussy, you fucking loser. Don't do it. Look how far you've come. You're already on week 2. Like, shut the fuck up. We know you're better than that. All that kind of shit. And they all said like the right shit pretty much every time. Because I feel like if there was one time someone said something wrong, I'd have been like, fuck you. I'm taking this shot. Or taking this beer. I think, yeah, I cut shots out and I was drinking significantly less than how old was I? How old am I now? So it's like 32, 33. I am 36, so 32. So at this point, first month sucks. And everyone's always offering you drinks because they forget, right? They're drinking. They've been drinking with you for a decade. And they're like, Austin, hey, I got us beers. And then they hand it to you. And then sometimes oh shit, I forgot you're not drinking. And I'll be like, yeah, and like, I guess more for me. But the first month I remember is probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I've built $1 million businesses in the most restricted industries in the world. And that was so hard. So the second month, you're working out. At this point, other people are starting to work out with you. They see some of your changes. I think I even had 1 or 2 people that are like, I'm going to go sober for a couple weeks or maybe a month. People helping you out and whatnot. And so it gets better. Second month, you start learning a little more. You're a little more energetic at the Broncos games. You can actually scream. The first month, you just sit, drink your water like a giant loser. And I remember I had friends that would do a month off or every once in a while, and I would make fun of them. I'm like, you're so boring. You're such a loser, and you do your month off. What the hell? And then it was my turn, and now I'm doing 4 years off. So after this 75 days, right? So it gets better. I start learning how to interact. I start learning, oh, these people are drunk. And start learning, oh my God, drunk people fucking suck, bro. And then, after the 75 days, I planned the last day to be in Mexico for my best friend at the time's birthday. I think it was like his 33rd birthday, 35th. I don't fucking know. So we go there, rings midnight. I complete the challenge, have a glass of champagne, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed. We'll go hard tomorrow. So the next night we go hard. I have a crazy story. I end up like getting kidnapped and I guess robbed. Yeah, guess I got robbed. And so and like, oh, whatever. I'm in Mexico. I used to live in Mexico. I'm used to stuff like that. I think they took like $20. I know how to do it. I don't bring my passport. I had like an old debit card, so they really took like $30. And then I had to walk for like 30 minutes. That's what I was most pissed about. I was like, all right, here's my money. Can you at least like just get a ride and drive me back and drop me back off? That was it. Um, so then the next night after that, we like party again, and I'm like starting to drink, and I'm like, all right, we're going hard. We're in Mexico for birthday. And eventually, I kind of just like after two drinks, I was just kind of like, huh, am I really gonna go through this again? I was like, man, I was hungover. It sucked. It wasn't that fun. I'm like, so I don't even think I got drunk that night. Maybe a little bit. Um, and I started drinking waters, and they're like, "What's going on?" I was like, I think I'm gonna stay sober tonight, or I'm not gonna drink too much." All right, oh, okay. Tomorrow night's Friday, or tomorrow night's the weekend. We'll go big then. All right, whatever. And then it just kind of dawned on me that I was like, maybe this 75 should turn into another couple months. And so that next day, I told him, I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do another 75 sober. What? Why? You're such a loser. How could you do that? It's my birthday. You gotta drink tonight. And I was like, I'm gonna party hard with you. I'm gonna do it sober. I've been doing it for 2.5 months, and I'm gonna do it again. So that's essentially where it started. So when I decided to continue my sobriety, I always was like, oh, at big events I'll drink. And then when I got back to Denver, every weekend's a big event. It's always someone's birthday. It's always someone's anniversary. It's always someone's this. It's always someone. There's always someone something. So I was like, all right, close friends. Like when my best friend gets married in Mexico. So I went down there, and this is like 5 months after. And I was like, all right, I'm going to drink at her wedding. We go down there, and a glass of wine comes down, and I'm talking and chatting. And after like an hour, we wrap up dinner, and we're all heading out. And the glass of wine's still there. I didn't even think about it. And I was like, oh, I just had a great time. I didn't even think about it. Maybe not. And didn't end up drinking there. And then another best friend of mine got married later on. And I was like, oh, bachelor party where we kidnapped him and took him to Ibiza. I was like, oh, I'll definitely drink for that. Didn't happen. So at that point, I had learned how to live life without alcohol. So now, 4 years later, I've done so much research. And now I talk to, well, sobriety is trendy and cool now. There's a lot more sober people than there used to be. And one thing, getting sober is only the beginning, because then you start learning all the fucked up shit and the I'm not using that word. Just all the shit in your life and in you. I mean, really, once you go sober, you find out how shitty you are, and that you have to actually fix it. You know, you've been using alcohol and hanging out with drunks and other people that are using alcohol to cover up their fucking shit. So y'all are just shitty people getting drunk together to cover up how shitty you are. So that's actually the hardest part. Is not even the drinking. The hardest part is going, holy fuck, I'm not that cool. I'm not that great. Everyone's always loved me forever because we just all drank together and band-aided all our fucking problems. So if you talk to sober people that have been sober for years, they'll always tell you getting sober is not the hard part. The hard part is realizing how not good you are and why you've been using alcohol to cover it up. So needless to say, the last 4 years being sober have been a load of growth, a fuckload of learning, and now I spend my entire life helping other people do the same. Not necessarily with sobriety, but with thousands of things. You know, sobriety is just one thing. Your mental health, you figure out who you are, what you're doing. You know, you can do things just as bad as getting drunk all the time and not even really realize it. So now that I've gone on like 400 tangents, I don't remember what else I wanted to say. 4 years sober. But now it's like, yeah, it doesn't even like phase me. But we're going to have a drink today. To 4 years. Yeehaw. Just tripped on something. Cheers, y'all. That's good shit. That is good shit. The original Italian recipe. Alcohol free Aperol.